So I'm thinking to myself, what's going on? WTF, eBay? Have you slipped us another change without telling us ahead of time? So when I opened up eBay today to do some draft listing, I'm like, another change? What am I seeing? So I'm interrupting the scheduled video for today to talk about simple delivery. Why? I'm an American seller. I'm in the USA, but it appeared in my system today. eBay Simple Delivery. It made its appearance today on my screen. Now, if you haven't heard of this program, it was rolled out back in April in the UK, and it was met with some resistance by UK resellers. And whenever they roll out a change like that in another country, in a smaller country like the UK, it makes US resellers wonder, is something going to come to the US? Is eBay going to force a change on us? Well, it looked like they had today. Let's get into this. I started this morning by opening my draft. I use a draft bank, so I opened the first draft and I went to list this book. Nothing particularly special about this book, but as I worked my way down the template, there were a couple of new blocks down in the shipping area. One said simple delivery. Next to it was one that said custom packaging. And they were between the eBay shipping policy data and the international shipping data. They just inserted a couple of new blocks. I clicked on them. They didn't seem to do anything, but they made me pause. And I didn't list the book. I held on to it because I thought perhaps I'd gotten over into an eBay Europe or an eBay UK comp, because I start my listings with sell similar normally. But that's hard to do. You normally, to get to look or try to comp something from another platform, eBay UK, you have to log out of eBay USA and log into eBay UK. And that hadn't happened. But when I comped this book originally, there were some foreign copies. There weren't many copies to begin with. One was in Australia. I didn't post the book listing. Instead, I opened the next draft on my draft list, which was for another book. Sure enough, same thing. Same blocks, same new appearance, right there in the middle. I said, So I Googled eBay Simple Delivery. And the response they sent back said that, yeah, that was the program that they'd introduced in the UK back on April 15th. And it had no mention of it coming to the US. So I went on to YouTube and I put it in the search block. I got no response. Nobody's made a video on this yet. Now that really made me curious. So I logged out of the store I was working in without posting those listings, because I'm always concerned about when eBay makes a change, what am I getting obligated to do? How have they just affected my listing? So I held off on going active. I went over to my other store. I picked an item that wasn't a book in my draft bank of that store, and I opened it up to finish it. Same data blocks. Simple delivery, custom packaging. With a new. And I thought, what's eBay up to? Is this a glitch? Is this a beta test? Is this something I haven't heard about, but they're slipping in? How's this going to affect me? Well, I couldn't find anything. So in the end, I had to put all of my listings today active, wondering about this. And I'd begin to doubt whether I was actually seeing it, so I screenshotted it. I screenshotted it so I can send it over to another content creator, Ryan over at Galaxy, because he's much more current about what's going on in the news, the reselling news, and he's got a much wider audience than I do. And he responded and said he hadn't heard anything yet beyond the fact that it had been introduced in Europe, in the UK, and that we were all waiting to see whether it made an introduction here. Well, just before I came out here to start running this video, I checked again. I pulled up the now active listing for this book. The data blocks weren't there. I opened it up like I was going to revise it. They're gone. I opened up another draft that I hadn't played with yet today. The data blocks aren't there. So was it a glitch? Was it a beta test? Was it a precursor to something? Did you see it today? I began to wonder myself if I had actually seen it. But I've started screen saving all those weird things that eBay does since I started making content. And I'm going to send it over to Ryan at Galaxy so he can use it or look at it, because now it seems to be gone. All evidence to the contrary. For a little while today, the options for simple delivery were on my draft screen. Now I do my drafts and listings from an Apple, from a MacBook laptop. But did you see it on a smartphone? I don't use one. Did you even see it at all? Was this a glitch that only appeared to some lucky people like me? But I will say one thing, eBay. WTF. Because as you make these changes with no announcements, you put a crimp in our daily routines listing. Whenever we've got to pause because you've moved the data, you've changed the format, you've moved things around and we have to go hunting, or we've got to adapt and relearn because you took a basic page, like a shipping page or a drafting page, and you've moved all the fields around. It's bad for listing. It's bad for resellers. You've never seemed to grasp that. The management team never seems to grasp that constant change is a problem. I know you got a lot of competition out there, eBay. You're fighting the Amazons and the Etsy's and the whatnots, so you're always trying to make your pages new and sparkly. Well, that's fine for what the buyer sees when he logs in. But what sellers really want is day in, day out consistency. We want the data to be entered the same way. Look at the item specifics area. If you got 15 item specifics, the blocks and fields don't even load data the same way. So, was this a glitch? Did somebody simply roll it out onto the wrong server? I'd like to know. If you saw it, send me a note. How long you saw it, I'd be curious. There's only a few hours it was on my system. And I sell out of the Pacific Northwest. I'm Brian, I'm here at the lake, and I'm confused. Got an airplane going overhead. It's like those kids' game books. 2 photos that are similar, and you're supposed to spot the difference. It's how I normally notice something's changed on the platforms on its pages. I go looking, it's not there, and you go, that moved. It's very frustrating, eBay, if you happen to ever see this.